Hello and welcome to another command block tutorial. Today's video, I'm going to show you how to call in your own airstrikes.
My resolution? Airstrikes. Bomb them. Bomb them, keep bombing them, bomb them again and again.
So this tutorial does take a few commands and it is using scoreboards, as you can see on the right side of my screen. But simply the way that it functions is you take any old item, you name it flare, like we have right here. And then I can throw this. You'll notice I can throw this much farther than I can throw a normal item. And wherever that lands, calls in an airstrike. And you can throw multiple of these at a time if you want to cover like a large area. And I'll even get some husks in here as targets for us. But I can throw as many of these as I want at a time, and it can cover an area in bombs from the sky. You can see how devastating this ability is. And it does look like a lot of commands. It's a little bit complicated. We are using scoreboards for this tutorial, but I promise you it's not all that difficult as long as you follow what I have planned out for you. So the most important thing here is that we're going to make a scoreboard. So the way that we're going to do that is we're going to just type in chat, scoreboard, objectives, add, A-strike, dummy. Just type that into the chat bar at some point before you make the rest of these commands. It's very important. It doesn't go into command block, but it is very important. We go ahead and type that in before you actually get started, but then we can actually get into the commands. So the very first set of commands that we have here, this one is what's going to make the flare kind of teleport forward, because you can see how I can throw it much farther than I can throw an actual item. This is how we're doing it. That way you can actually throw the flare and not call airstrikes in on yourself, because generally, I talked to my doctor about this, it's not good for your health. And we also have, this is kind of an optional command, but it is a nice little one that I recommend doing. This is just going to, at the item named flare, just going to run a little particle, and you guys can see here when I'm throwing this, there's like a little red particle that's following. It makes the flare kind of look a little bit more like a flare. And I just call it an airstrike. Let's hope my camera doesn't shake while I'm doing these commands. And it is. Alright. We have this on a 4-tick delay. And what we're doing is every 4 ticks, we're adding 1 airstrike scoreboard value to the flare item. Then we have the chain coming off of it, so that once the flare hits an airstrike value of 15 or more, it's going to summon an armor stand named Strike. Then the armor stand is instantly going to be made invisible, that way you don't actually see it. And then we're actually going to kill the item that is named airstrike, or that is named flare. And then we're going to kill the item's named flare after it summons the armor stand. Alright, so that's the actual functionality for how the flare works in terms of, you know, flying out and then starting the airstrike. So now what we need to do is actually make the bomb physics. So what we're going to do is, for the armor stand, once again we're doing a similar thing where we are adding airstrike 1 to the armor stand, similar to what we did with the flare, except this time it's going to be on a 10-tick delay. The next command that we have here is going to summon an armor stand named Bomb on the armor stand named Strike. Then, for anything that is named Bomb but does not have the tag Lift, is going to run a spread players command, which randomizes the location of the bomb armor stands. And so this, you always kind of want to put this at 1 for this type of command. And then I have this set to 10, which is how far away from the center any of the bombs can land. So if you want it to be a tighter spread, make this 10 a lower number. If you want the bombs to cover a higher area, you can go ahead and make this a bigger number. Then, for anything that is named bomb that once again does not have the tag Lift, teleport yourself 40 blocks straight up. That's because normally the spread players command is going to put them right on the surface of the ground. So the spread players is going to spread them out from the center, and then it's going to get teleported up. So then we have this command here, which is simply going to kill the armor stand named Strike once it hits the scoreboard value of 15. So that's after 15 bombs have been spawned. If you want more bombs, you can go ahead and make this a higher number. If you want less, make it a lower number. You guys are more than welcome to change this up as much as you want. This is an empty command. So then we're going to add the tag lift to anything named bomb. And this is just going to make it so after it's been spread playered, after it's been lifted up, it's no longer going to be moved around and lifted up. So finally, we're just going to give the effect invisibility to anything named bomb. That way you're not actually seeing the armor stands, just the particles. Now the actual particles that we're using for the armor stand as it falls, and I'll show you this just one more time. You can see they kind of have like a little bit of explosion that kind of expands as it goes down. That's this command right here. So basically anything that's named bomb, just run the camera shoot explosion particle. Pretty simple. Alright, then we have the actual thing that's going to give the bomb its explosion. So what we're going to do is check and make sure that there's no air directly below the bomb, and if so, it's going to give itself the tag boom. Then we're also going to do this a second time, but instead of 0.1, we're using 0.55. It's otherwise the exact same command. This just makes it so if it lands on like a fence post or something like that, it's still going to activate. Alright, then for anything that has the tag boom, just make this explosion particle. Pretty simple. Anything that has the tag boom, make an explosion noise. Pretty simple. Anything that has the tag boom, we're going to run the damage command. So for anything within a radius of 5, so that's the center of the explosion is going to damage anything within 5 blocks, as long as that's not an item or an armor stand. This is the number that you want to change. If you want to make the bombs do more damage, make it higher. If you want them to do less, make it lower. Pretty simple. Then we're adding the camera shake. So at anything that has the tag boom, camera shake to anybody within 15 blocks, 0.5. And finally, kill anything with the tag boom. So once it's gone through the explosion, it's done the damage, just kills itself. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Just input these commands and you actually have a fully functioning airstrike. And it is really fun to have like a bunch of these airstrikes in a row. And I can just kind of go down the line here and just summon in a bunch, and then it looks just like a whole strip of airstrikes all at once. It is an incredibly devastating set of commands here that you have access to. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and remember, the best way to learn is to actually mess around with these command blocks. So I kind of pointed out some of the commands that I think you should mess around with first, but as always, I really recommend that you guys kind of experiment, take these commands, tweak them, see if you can make something more interesting, something that suits your needs a little bit better, and yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Bye.